Hi there YouTube, this is Daniel back again with another YouTube video, and today I'm going to give you a whole video. But before I go into that video, I want to plug this live show that I am a guest on with Black Paul and JT over at the Comic Board. We usually go and have a discussion about a book we've read and about a few other topics that come to us over the course of the weeks in between shows. And we plan to talk about Chew, volumes 4, 5, and 6 this next Tuesday. Not this one coming up, but the second Tuesday of every month. So far, we are planning on doing these live shows, so you're welcome to check it out if you want, and I'll try to leave a link to that channel in the description below. The reason you check this video out is for me to show you a few books that I picked up, and the books that I've picked up is from the two last months, so January and February. And usually I tend to pick up manga, and today is no different. The book I'm talking about is Blade of the Immortal by Dark Horse. It's the reprint, the deluxe edition, or so they did omnibus trade paperbacks earlier. Now they have done these beautiful hardback omnibus edition, deluxe oversized hardcover editions. I love these hardcovers. I hope Dark Horse plan to do more series this way. And this presentation of a book is just beautiful. And the difference between this and the other few hardcovers they've done in manga form is that this is read like a normal comic book, a Western comic, and they didn't mirror the artwork like they usually do when they translate it into Western style comics. They cut up each individual panel and reordered them. So yeah, I guess that was one of the wishes from the creator, Hirosaki Samura. This is a beautiful book, and I think they're gonna do like 9 of these, so they're gonna take up a lot of space on my manga section of my collection. So let's go into the trade paperback section of this whole video. And a few hauls ago I picked up this Codename series, and I didn't realize that the book that I picked up was volume 2. So I jumped on getting volume 1, looked it up. Sounds interesting, like Cold War era spy stuff, or it takes place now, or in this timeline. It's difficult to explain, but it intrigued me when I read it. That's what I remember from it, so I'm not gonna try to spoil it for myself, but the artwork is pretty interesting at times. Sometimes kind of feels a bit sloppy in certain areas, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to get to read this one. It's written by a guy named Johnston, and I think drawn by Shan Kama. I'm butchering names here. And the next book I have here is a trade paperback, Bitter Root. It got the Eisner Award for Best Continuing Series, I believe. And yeah, it looks pretty awesome. It looks like this is a story about a monster hunter family that has had a bit of a falling out or something like that. Now things are stirring up again, and they are trying to, yeah. I haven't looked into this, but I love the artwork and the story. When it's about monster hunting and stuff like that, I'm usually game. The next book is Faster Than Light, Volume 2. I read Volume 1 a few years ago, and I planned to pick this up a long time ago, but never did. Never found the space for it in my haul videos. Now I did, and it's about this story where humans have developed faster than light travel, and that brings trouble from outer space. pretty much sums things up. And yeah, I'm gonna look into reading volume 1. I will give it a reread before I go into this one to kind of jog my memory a bit. And the next book I have here is a Only Press book, The Bunker. So this is about these teenagers or young people walking into a forest and then stumbling upon this bunker. And they enter this bunker and find certain letters addressed to them from themselves from the future. So this already sounds very interesting, and the artwork, I hadn't looked into it, but this looks pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Grass Kings and Black Badge in a way, with the colors and the line work. But yeah, this looks pretty interesting. And then we have Deadpool Volume 4 by Daniel Way. This is basically still Deadpool trying to find a way to die in a way. And then he finds this serum, or he gets to inject the serum that kind of blocks his healing power, which kind of gives him a new found appreciation for life in typical Deadpool fashion, basically. And the next two books I have here is a series that I've been wanting to continue for a while, but never found space for when I decided to pick books up from in-stock trades. And that is Red Hood and Outlaws. So this is volume 2. I read volume 1 a long time ago, and I bought it as basically it was recommended highly from JT, and he enjoyed it quite a lot. We typically enjoy certain books that we have similar taste, basically. So I got volume 3 as well. So these two, written by Scott Lobdell, I believe, and drawn by Dexter Soy. Artwork by Dexter Soy is very nice. I think that's not his artwork, but yeah, here we have some of his artwork. Looks stunning. I think even Kenneth Rocafort does an issue here. His artwork is always stunning. And the rest are hardcovers and omnibus editions. This one is a standard sized hardcover, which is Earth 1, Green Lantern, Earth 1 story, volume 2. I really loved volume 1 back when it was released, I think 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago. So I enjoyed Corina Betchko's and Gabriel Hardman's work before in Image series that they did, and I love how they kind of ground this space odyssey story in with this gritty, grounded artwork. It's a clash that I kind of like. Here's another example of that artwork. So I enjoyed volume 1, and I'm sure that I'm gonna enjoy volume 2 just as much. Hopefully the story continues in a good way from where volume 1 left off. But yeah, Green Lantern Earth 1. And the next book I have here is a Dark Horse book, and that's a library edition, and that is of course Aliens. This is the book that kind of continues that first volume, but this time in color. And yeah, the book looks gorgeous, and I know Marvel is doing this omnibus edition of these, but this is even more oversized and a more beautifully presented edition of the book. So now I only have to get Predator, Terminator, and Alien vs Predator, which, yeah, I think those first two are gonna be difficult to find, but I think I'm gonna be able to find Alien vs Predator once I put my mind to it. And the next book I have to show is one that I teased on those live shows that I plugged in the beginning of this video, and it is of course The Umbrella Academy Apocalypse Suite by Daniel Way and Gabriel Ba. This is a beautiful edition. So this is the slipcase edition. I know there's a cheaper option to go with just the hardcover, but I really do like this extra they put into this. This is this portfolio or folder, and inside here you have this beautiful little print by Gabriel Ba, and it's presented so well in this, and I'm gonna keep it in this, and if he ever shows up on a con that I'm visiting, I will definitely have him sign this and dedicate it to me, so I can frame it and put it on my wall, or just keep it in this beautiful folder for all eternity. And of course, the hardcover itself looks beautiful, and yeah, the artwork is stunning. I really do like his Mignola-esque art style. He kind of emulates him quite well. It's his own art style, of course, but I do kind of see hints of Mignola in the art styles. And yeah, this, I just love how this looks. And not only that hardcover, I also got Volume 2, Dallas, and Volume 3. Maybe this, oh, Hotel Oblivion. So these two also will be in my collection. And this is the same kind of format as the first one. So they get this print in this full portfolio with a beautifully presented hardcover in this slipcase, and I'm a sucker for slipcases. And continuing with these oversized hardcover editions, I also showed this one in January, I believe, on those live streams, and I complained about the way that book depositories sometimes handle their books, since this one got a few dings and bangs on the edges and the corners, and kind of looks like it's got a bit of a dirty surface on it since it came unwrapped to me. And this was supposed to be the signed edition by Gail Simone, but I couldn't find a signature anywhere in this book, and yeah, I complained about it, and I complained and complained, and I was a bit of a yeah, I was a bit annoyed with how Book Depository handled this purchase, since I waited over about 6 months after I pre-ordered it. But yeah, I contacted them, and they let me know that I could keep the book and they would fully refund me. So I'm happy about that, at least. Now I'm just gonna have to find Gail Simone on a con somewhere and have her sign it, so that it is the signed edition in the future. But yeah, this book looks great. It's bound perfectly. Some of the artwork is great as well. Here's an example of that. And yeah, well, the rest of the books are oversized hardcovers, and this is no exception. Daredevil Elektra by Bill Sienkiewicz and Frank Miller. These stories are beautifully painted by Bill Sienkiewicz, and yeah, I have this run in single issues, but I couldn't pass the opportunity to have this in this gallery-sized hardcover. And I think Marvel is going to do these for certain graphic novels and limited series with that standout artwork, and almost like they do with, or like Dark Horse do with their those library editions or absolute editions from DC. We have this gallery edition now from Marvel, so hopefully they continue this in the future, because these are just as expensive as the library editions from Dark Horse. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep this in the shrink wrap until I read it. The next book is an image book, and from my favorite duo basically in comics, and that is Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker's criminal story arc, Cruel Summer. I read this in single issues when it came out, and I enjoyed every issue of it. It was so perfectly paced, and the story was so interesting, and the outcome of it and the ending was very satisfying in a way, in a bittersweet way, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna be excited to read this in this oversized format now and reread the story and see if I can pick up anything new, any new nuances that I didn't pick up the first run around. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm just sad that I waited too long for Kill Be Killed, so I'm gonna have to hunt it down, probably pay overprice for it, unless they decide to reprint it in the future. And what's a whole video without an omnibus? Just kidding. Yeah, so I have an omnibus here to show you, and that is Batman by Grant Morrison Volume 3. I love how these 3 books that's been put out by DC has been presented. The design of them are spot on, and the size is just perfect, and the price point is good as well. So I can't complain about these. It's gonna look great on my shelf, and it's gonna be fun to read this. I haven't read much of Grant Morrison's run before, so it's gonna be great to have these 3 omnibus editions to kind of go through it all in not one sitting. That's impossible for me, but at least go through them in a consecutive run. And the last 2 books that I have here is from Image, and it's Chew, Omnivore Edition Volume 4 and 5. I forgot to order Volume 6. I'm gonna have to go to my LCS after I finish this filming to get that one. But yeah, I'm halfway through this one, Volume 4, and Volume 5 and 6 gonna be quite a fun read, I believe. And we're gonna have a lengthy discussion about these 3 books. The third one I'm not showing here. We're gonna have a fun discussion about this series, the conclusion of it, next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but second Tuesday of March. So that means the 9th, I believe. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. And join us live on the Comic Board channel. And I guess that's it. These are the books that I picked up through January and February, and yeah, it's been fun hunting down these books, and it's gonna be great reading them as well. And I'm gonna try to focus more on reading more this year. I'm not off to a good start, I must admit that, but I will try to reach my goal of the 100 books that I set for myself on Goodreads. Hopefully it's gonna be way more than that, but yeah, at least that's my goal for 2021. And I'm gonna do a lot of rereading as well to see if those books will stay in my collection. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. I hope you tune in to the live show next week or the second Tuesday of every month over at the Comic Board. And until next time, collect what you like, and see you around. Bye bye.